And the New England Patriots and the Colts would go up later in the day. But the first game up, Aaron Rodgers and his banged-up leg against Richard Sherman, who he hardly challenged at all in week number 1. And then in the first series, 3rd and 10, Aaron Rodgers moving the ball down the field, and then he tries Sherman, and then that is an interception.
That's a great play, man. I'm here to tell you. That's a great play. Stutter goal, great position, great ball skills. Now get your feet down. Now, let's celebrate a little bit after we do.
Usually when you played receiver and you move to DB, it's because you can't catch.
Right.
Not the case with Richard Sherman.
So Sherman picks it off, but then the Seahawks, what do with it? It gets picked off right away. Ha-ha, Clinton Dix. Ha-ha. Gets all the way down to the 3-yard line off the tip drill. But at the end of the play,
we usually see those mistakes
at the end of the play, it was a 15-yard penalty, but they got the ball back towards in the end zone, and it's called a touchdown for John Kuhn, except the fact he wasn't in. After further review, the ball's down at the half-yard line, and take the touchdown off the board. And the next play, here comes Eddie Lacy. He gets stuffed at the goal line, and the Packers settle for a field goal.
That defense held early on. When they turned that ball over, Seattle did, that defense stepped up and played hard.
So Mike McCarthy settles for the 3, decides to kick off, and that was a good move, especially when Doug Baldwin on the ensuing kickoff puts the ball on the ground. A fumble. Morgan Burnett recovers for the Packers. Second turnover of the game. They're not even through the first quarter, halfway through it at this point in time. And the Packers, it's their 3rd possession of the game already, all of them reaching Seahawks territory. This one starting in the red zone, and then Rodgers in the end zone, and he misses Jordy Nelson.
That hurts right there, man. She just had a little bit more air up under that ball, so Jordy could have found it when he turned his head.
Green Bay had to settle for another field goal when Aaron Rodgers watched his defense put Wilson on the ground. It's Julius Peppers trying to make his first Super Bowl and win it. And that got the ball back for Green Bay, who moved the ball down the field again in the red zone with a flag on the play, a wide-open Randall Cobb. And Aaron Rodgers' last 9 postseason touchdown passes have now gone to 9 different receivers. He'd never found Cobb, but he did right here wide open.
Look at this right here, man. And Aaron Rodgers, man, you could tell he was in much better condition. He looked much better than he did last week. His calf was doing better, and he shot that ball in.
13-0. The defense is talking to one another on the sideline, trying to fire each other up. It's 16-0 second quarter when Russell Wilson tries to force one downfield, and there's that Clinton Dix fella again.
I must say,
I like that one. Ha-ha, Clinton Dix, what must you say?
When I was watching this, I was a little bit upset with Kearse in his effort, at least trying to move that ball or stop the interception or something.
And Russell Wilson took a major hit from Clay Matthews, who was flagged 15 yards. They called it a blindside hit, but it was really more helmet to helmet is what it should have been at least. So, but Russell was not knocked out of the game. Not knocked out of the game, and then Aaron Rodgers gives it right back a few plays after the interception. We have 5 turnovers in the game at this point in time as the rain's beginning to come down again.
I think they arrived at expected Cobb to break out.
But the ensuing possession, Russell Wilson for Jermaine Kearse, and he's picked by Sam Shields.
Rich, right there again. I wanted to see a little more fight right there in this kind of a game, but to help your quarterback out there.
So 3 turnovers for Wilson in the first half alone, and you throw in Doug Baldwin's fumble, and Seattle's lucky to be down just 16-0 to start the second half. They go 3 and out. The Packers couldn't score, so Russell Wilson trying to move the ball down the field on 3rd and 19 converts.
On the phone with me talking about, are you serious? This was Marshall. He was on the phone going off like, what are you doing?
Clay Matthews.
How are you doing?
Hands to the face, and you forget the seat.
But they have to settle for a field goal, which they bust out the fake. Punters are momentum shifters, too. John Ryan to a wide-open Gary Gilliam, who was a tight end when he was at Penn State, never caught a touchdown at Penn State. This is his first career touchdown.
Look at the predicament that they put A.J. Hawk in.
He's in a tough situation.
And he go get the runner.
But I'm not going to surrender to 6. I give you the first down. I'm not surrendering to 6. Bad decision by A.J. Hawk.
That is a big-time fake kick and throw to put the Seahawks on the board, but momentum started wearing a yellow helmet as James Starks is running through, bursting free for 32 yards. And Richard Sherman gets hurt on the collision with Cam Chancellor, and he comes up holding his elbow. He didn't miss a play, but he clearly was a one-handed defensive back the rest of the day.
Hyperextended, I believe.
And it's possible that he has nerve damage. He says that he will play later on. He did soldier on in this game that it's a 19-7 game, and Russell Wilson gets on the tip drill. But why
are you falling down?
Morgan Burnett slides.
The game is not over.
With 5 minutes to go.
Man, what is wrong with you?
Well, Jermaine Kersey went off of his hands, so he was having a rough day at this point, to say the least. But the Packers would just run the ball and forced Seattle to use 2 of its timeouts. They decided not to call a timeout here and save 1 more timeout, which was an interesting move. So Mike McCarthy kicks the ball back to Seattle. 3 and change to go. Complete to Doug Baldwin, trying to get out of bounds. He cannot, so the time is still ticking.
Doug Baldwin made some plays when they needed him to make some plays today.
2nd and 10, 3 minutes to go. Russell Wilson throws it for Marshawn Lynch, who tiptoes the sideline, and it's ruled a touchdown, except for the fact
thank God we have replay.
Well, his gold sole shoes showed clearly he was stepping out of bounds way further back. But
so happy we have replay.
Instead, Marshawn Lynch gets it inside the 5, and Russell Wilson takes it in from there, and he scored before the 2-minute warning.
Why does the defender always look like it was somebody else's guy?
19-14. Stephen Hauschka, you kick it deep and you go onsides. The Seahawks go onsides, and it's a good decision because it works.
Jordan Nelson waiting on that ball.
Brandon Bostic goes to jump for the ball.
He won't jump no more.
And it goes off of his helmet and into the hands of Chris Matthews.
Look at Coach Day.
What of hand team. He was on the front line blocked. Jordy Nelson is there waiting for the ball.
So instead, the Seahawks now have the ball back at midfield, and Russell Wilson, first play, pulls it out from Marshawn and takes it to the 35-yard line with even a tick before the 2-minute warning. Now, unbelievably, the Seahawks might be scoring too quickly from the 32-yard line. First down, Luke Wilson. Silent L is somewhere within his name. Luke Wilson with the first down moves forward. Next play on the Packers 24. And here comes Marshawn Lynch running downhill.
I love watching how he stops everybody and shakes your hand politely. I'm a beast, but I'm going to handle this mode like a gentleman.
It's a touchdown, 20-19. If we ask Steve Mariucci, what does the book say you should do? Go for 2.
Now this play makes me mad.
And it looks like the play is blown up.
Oh, my God.
Russell Wilson buying time. A prayer to Luke Wilson, and it is answered.
Did somebody tweet me and tell me what was Clint Dix doing?
Well, he was a ball hawk all day, making plays with the ball all day and did not hear.
I actually got angry at that point. I don't care who wins. I just really I like good football. You got to make that play as a defensive back.
And that would be a huge 2 points because Aaron Rodgers had more than enough time left and all 3 timeouts, and he hardly needed them because he kept moving the ball down the field quickly. Jordy Nelson to the 38-yard line of Green Bay, 15 yards. Next play, a minute 2 left. Rodgers to Cobb over the middle, now on the plus side of the field. Next play, 43 seconds to go. Aaron Rodgers buying time, extending the play with his one good leg. What does he do? All sorts of green grass in front of him. He limps his way out of bounds. First down. Mason Crosby is in field goal range. 3 plays later, 3rd and 10 for the Seahawks, 36-26. Ticks to go. Aaron Rodgers throws it to Jordy Nelson to get his field goal kicker 6 yards closer.
An awesome throw, man.
Richard Sherman one-handedly brings him down. You got a one-legged quarterback, a one-armed cornerback, and you got a guy with 2 good legs coming out, and he sweeps one leg through the ball, and it goes through the uprights. And, of course, we have overtime in this insane contest.
Discount double check.
22-22, 116-0.
Wow,
the
what a
Packers
game.
lose the lead. But we go into overtime, and you remember, Seattle beat Denver in overtime in this building earlier this year by getting the ball to start overtime and not allowing Peyton Manning to take the field and take a single snap. And Russell Wilson on 3rd and 6 finds Doug Baldwin, who is trying to be redemptive right here. Obviously, we know he dropped the ball. He put one on the ground earlier in the game for a punt return. We talked about how Jermaine Kearse had a very tough day, but to wrap it up, a walk-off touchdown grab by Kearse. Yes. And the Seattle Seahawks down 16-0 at the half. 5 turnovers in the game, 4 by their quarterback, are going back to the Super Bowl. The NFC champion, Seattle Seahawks, and Russell Wilson in tears. Pete Carroll celebrating, going to Arizona to participate in Super Bowl 49 as the Green Bay Packers suffer one of the more bitter defeats you will ever see in NFL playoff history. They were up 16-0 and lose without even touching the ball in an overtime that they were forced to force due to a major big-time comeback by the defending Super Bowl champs who would not go gently into that rainy Seattle afternoon.